No.
It's Crys'Dawna from Bella Renovare, and this is the next video in my video series of eclectic finishes with Crys'Dawna. So this week what I'm gonna do is show you this side's finished. So I'm gonna show you a chippy, old world, farmhouse, chippy paint look, okay? So what I need you guys to do is I need you to hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell next to the subscribe button so that you get all the latest videos, and let's get started. Okay guys, so the first step in this is you want to prep your piece, right? Okay, so I have a blog post on how to prep your piece. Dixie Belle has white lightning. If you've got any chipping paint, stuff like that, then you're going to want to sand it. Then next, after you have cleaned your piece and prepped it, you're going to want to do a base coat. So I actually kind of got a little ahead of myself, but right here is the base coat of Savannah Mist, okay? And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to do your sea spray. So I also got ahead of myself for that, but in the blog post I explain it. So this is what sea spray is. It's Dixie Belle Sea Spray, okay? It's a texture additive. Typically how you use this sea spray is you do 2 level scoops of the sea spray and then 8 ounces of the paint. So you're mixing the sea spray and the paint. You're not doing that in this one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix the sea spray with water. And what you want is a pancake batter-like consistency. So this is what I mixed it in. You can kind of see it's still a little bit wet, but you want a pancake batter-like consistency. I know that this is like a brownish beige color, but once you put it on your piece, it's actually going to dry white. So after you have done the pancake-like consistency, then you're going to put it all over your piece in random spots, and you'll know that it's dry because it's going to turn white. So some of these spots I did a little bit thicker than the others. It's just kind of a random thing that you want to do. Now, after your sea spray has dried, you want to do your Dixie Belle Crackle, okay? Crackle right here. That's the next step. So I'm going to show you guys. The Crackle is extremely thick, all right? So a little bit goes a long way. The thicker you put the Crackle on, the thicker your cracks are going to be. Generally, Crackle is used for a crack effect, but for this, we're going to use it for a chippy paint effect. So what it's going to do is when we put this on there, once we scrape it off later on, it's actually going to pull the paint off in sections to give it like a chippy look, and you'll see that. So I'm going to show you guys. This is very thick. Just take a chip brush, something super easy, and just kind of put it in random spots. You don't have to have any kind of method to your madness. Now, this stuff will dry shiny. So just be aware of that. A lot of stuff dries and it's like a matte. It's not going to dry matte. This stuff is going to dry shiny. So you're going to want to feel it to make sure that it's dry, because you're not going to tell by the way it looks. The way it goes on is the way that it dries. So you're just going to put this on in random spots all over your piece and wait for it to dry. So we're back and the Crackle is dried. So now we're going to dry brush the blueberry and the Yankee blue on this piece. So I'm going to show you how I just dry brush it. My son's down here with me.
Oh, you too.
So you're just going to dry brush it in random spots. This is the blueberry. So this is a custom for my client, and she doesn't want a lot of blueberry. So I'm just doing it just to add a little bit of dimension. You want to do it? Here you go. It's so easy that a 2-year-old can do it. Here you go. No, you don't need any more. I'm only doing little slight areas of the blueberry, not very much, okay? So this is probably as much blueberry as I'm gonna do. And next I'm gonna get a different brush, and I'm gonna shake up my Yankee blue, and then I'm going to do dry brush for my Yankee blue. And she wants this piece light and airy, but This is going to add character and dimension for this piece later. So we're not going to put a ton of these two colors. But we do want a couple. And so you're going to continue doing that on the entire piece. You're going to dry brush the blueberry and the Yankee blue on the entire piece, and once it's done, we'll come back and we'll scrape. Okay guys, so now I've dry brushed the Yankee blue and the blueberry on this piece. We're going to take our metal scraper. I got this, it's a stiff metal scraper, so you're going to want a stiff metal scraper. I got this at, I think, Lowe's or something like that, so I'm going to show you guys how I scrape this. You're going to scrape the entire piece. And it depends on the look you want, how much elbow grease you want to use. And the parts where you had your, so the parts where the crackle was, it's going to chip off in bigger parts. You may have to peel it. Is it chips it, and it also helps make these areas right here a little bit smoother. So it doesn't have like a crazy streaky look. And you can go down. You can scrape it over, whatever you have to do to get the look that you want. This definitely takes some core work, guys. And when you're going over these appliques, be careful. You almost maybe want to scrape down. Want to be gentle around those so you don't mess with them and get underneath. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to continue to just scrape this entire piece until it looks like you want it to look, and then you're going to come back and you're going to put that last coat of. Okay, so I have scraped my entire piece that we were working on right here, and so now I want to show you guys. So now what I did is I mixed Cobalt and Haint Blue because she wanted kind of a medium blue, so we're going to try to get this look. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go over, I'm going to mainly go over a lot of the paint that I just did. And I'm going to allow a little bit to stay, but we want this to be our main color. So I'm going to go over the entire piece with this. Just dry brush it. You're almost kind of covering the paint that you just did. I know that seems kind of counterproductive, but she wants more of this medium blue color. But I want a little bit of this stuff to show underneath. So I'm just going to dry brush. I'm going to dry brush this entire piece with this color. And then once you have dry brushed with your last color, then you're going to scrape it again, and then we're going to do gilding wax. Okay guys, so I'm back with the gilding wax. We're going to be using the Bronze by Dixie Belle, and then I also have my mini French tip paint Pixie brush. I really like this brush because it's pointy, so it gets into the areas I want. So this stuff a little bit goes a long way, so just dab right here, okay? And then we're just going to lightly put it into this piece. Just in random areas, so I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to push this back. I just want it in the corners I'll go over this one more again. Do you guys see how that is going on? So I'm just going to randomly do this throughout the piece. Okay, so for this project, you're going to need Dixie Belle's Paint in Savannah Mist, Dixie Belle Paint in Blueberry, Dixie Belle Paint in Yankee Blue, and then I mixed Dixie Belle Paint in Cobalt and Haint Blue for my last color that I dry brushed. And then I also used Dixie Belle's Gilding Wax in Bronze. You're going to need Dixie Belle's Sea Spray, Dixie Belle's Crackle, and you're also going to want to use a chip brush. So you'll probably need a couple chip brushes for your Sea Spray and your Crackle. You're going to want a mixing bowl for your Sea Spray. And you're going to want a high quality paintbrush. And then you're also going to want a metal paint scraper. And then a sanding sponge at 120 grit. And then to top it all off and finish it up, you're going to want to use Dixie Belle's Easy-Peasy Spray Wax. So let's get started.